She speaks with the dead and has more than 20 years as a spirit advocate. She's spoken with Michael Jackson, with Marilyn Monroe, and she is the owner of the San Diego Paranormal Research Project. We've got Bonnie Vent coming to us today with talking about so many fascinating things that you're working on. We're going to get to your paranormal project, but Michael Jackson, I mean, whether you loved him or you didn't love him when he was alive, everybody is wanting, you know, to talk about him, to find out what led to his death. And he actually came to you and revealed some information.
Yeah, he did. Actually, he came to me literally within hours of his death, wanted to know what happened. He was very confused. I told him, you know, you died. And he was gone and then came back several days later. There's actually a timeline on my website if you want to follow exactly what happened in the validations. But I can now reveal, he talked to us August 25th, 2009 at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel and said exactly what the family is now saying publicly, that he was murdered to look past Dr. Murray and to follow the money, and that there was going to be a very unpleasant story that was going to unfold. And of course now, following the criminal and the civil cases that are going on, you can see that there's about to be some information come out within the court cases.
As a spirit, I'm sorry to interrupt, but as a spirit advocate, it works a little bit differently than we may traditionally imagine. The celebrities come to you and not the other way around.
Right. Well, spirit people in general. Some are celebrities, some are infamous, like the beautiful stranger at the Hotel del Coronado, Thomas Whaley, locally here, Yankee Jim Robinson. They're looking for someone to assist them in getting resolution, which is why they're still here.
Wonderful. And Marilyn Monroe, what did she have to say to you?
Marilyn was interesting. She's actually gotten past all the unpleasantness of her death, and she had a very positive message that she wanted to put out. It's actually trans-channeled, so you can actually get some of her personality coming directly through me. But she did put out a warning for people that were interested in being involved in the entertainment industry and what it's like to be an icon and how heavily marketed you are, and people forget that you're an actual person.
Absolutely. And here is your DVD where you did the conversations with Marilyn, and just fascinating to watch that. And on a more local level, this project that you've been working on has really revealed some maybe inconsistencies with some of the local folklore that we have about the Whaley House.
Right. Local legend is that Yankee Jim Robinson was hung on the property before the house was built, and that's why he haunts Whaley House. Thomas Whaley, when he lived in the house, reported shortly after he built the house that he heard heavy footfalls upstairs. What we did was we actually talked to Thomas Whaley using mediumship, and we talked to Yankee Jim Robinson. Thomas Whaley actually expressed a tremendous amount of guilt and felt that he had an influence and he could have prevented Yankee Jim Robinson's death. Well, when we look at it historically, which is what we do to validate the information, when we look at it historically, what we find is that he was on the grand jury for Yankee Jim Robinson. So absolutely he could have affected the outcome. And his business partner, Crossway, was the one that gave the signal to have Yankee Jim Robinson hung. He was the interim deputy sheriff. And so, yes, he could have had tremendous amounts of influence.
A woman that you met at the Cosmopolitan Hotel, Emily Ann, tell us about her.
Well, it's interesting. We had not planned on doing any research at the Cosmopolitan Hotel. We actually stayed there as a home base because we were doing some work in Old Town in general. And it's been renovated back to the 1870s. It's actually beautiful inside. And so we were there in this one room one night and decided we'd see who wanted to get in touch with us. And Emily Ann came through. And she was concerned about her girls, and she was talking about how life was back at the time when she was alive. And so my research partner got a hold of the innkeeper at the Cosmopolitan and said, you know, do you know anything about somebody named Emily Ann? And he said, you know, absolutely. She ran brothels here in Old Town. And so, you know, I didn't know who she was, but she gave us her name, and we were actually able to validate it historically.
Bonnie, this is so fascinating, and we could talk to you all day long, but we want to give people the opportunity to read your book, and we're offering the ebook on our website, san diego6.com, to our viewers. So just a fascinating, fascinating read, and your video project just really interesting. And thank you so much for sharing your time and your talents with us today.
Thank you.
Good to have you on. More information, of course, you can go to san diego6.com.